What a boy wants, what a boy needs.
You're a better singer than I am. People listen to the last podcast are going to be like, that guy sucks at singing. Like, she's so much better. And that's the second podcast you started with a snort. Just want to acknowledge that. Last episode we talked about what women want. Mm-hmm. So now I'm going to do my best to be the representation for all men.
What Tony wants.
Basically, that's basically what we're doing, right? So we talked about this. I was like, all right, so what is it? What is it that men want? I'm just going to talk about what I think men want because of what I want. And it's not, spoiler alert, it's not just sex.
Mm-hmm. Good.
So that's not.
Praise God.
I said just. It's not. It's not. So I want to it's part. Never mind. I'll explain it when we get there. Okay. So I came up with. I got 4 things that I think men want, and what I love about this conversation is that our conversation last episode, where you talked about what women want, there's a lot of overlap.
Oh, good.
And there were many times I felt like I was biting my tongue. I was like, "Ooh, no! I got to save this for when we talk about. I can't hijack the conversation."
Yeah. Okay.
But there were some things that you said that's like, oh, and I can tell you exactly like what men want that partners with that and
good
and helps those things along. If we just
nice.
Understand each other.
Wonderful.
Right. So in Genesis, when God created Eve, he says it's not good for man to be alone. And he created a helper. That term, as I think you know, is a term that really is only used to describe God.
It's one of my favorite things about the Bible.
Yeah, this word is only used to describe God, is God as the helper, but it's also used this other time to refer to Eve. So which means this isn't a helper that's like subservient to, right? If anything, it is an equal, but the only way that Adam becomes his full self, lives into the fullness of what God intended for him, was when he was partnered with Eve. Was when the two come together. And I think God does see those two as one. So most of our conversation is going to be about that relationship, like husband and wife. What is it that a man needs from a woman in marriage that I think will, as we lean into this biblical manhood series, we talk a lot about what does it mean for a man to be a Christian man.
Right.
And there is a role for wives in that. In some of these things we're going to talk about are things that are going to propel your husband and motivate your husband to be the man that God created him to be. And we'll talk about those specific things. That I think there's a couple specifically that's like, man, if you guys as wives do these things,
right,
it will dramatically change, depending on your current relationship, will dramatically change how your husband leans into his faith and leans into his role as a husband and father. Okay?
Right.
So I got 4. We're just going to jump into them.
Okay.
First one you talked about a little bit is men want to be respected.
Oh, great.
And this is not we don't need to be loved. We only need to be respected. That's not what this is. Because you talked last episode, if you want to remind us real quick, about the respect piece for you.
Yeah. I talked about how early on in my first marriage, only marriage, but the marriage that I'm no longer in, that's a weird way to describe that. I don't know how to describe this.
It's okay. It's fine. That's the way to describe it.
The awkward start there. That we read a book that many couples read called Love and Respect. And I tried to pigeonhole myself into that idea of like women need love, men need respect, and then took an intimacy needs test and found out that one of my primary needs in order to feel connected in an intimate relationship is that I need to feel respected in relationship.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
which is we brought up because that's typically swwitched.
Right.
The way that we think about it is typically.
Yes. But then you explained really well that
Thank you.
those
Thank
aren't
you.
opposites. Yeah, you're welcome. See me respecting you right now.
Yeah, you did. Thank you. Appreciate that. It means a lot. It does.
Those aren't opposites. Like one of the ways that we love people is by respecting them, and vice versa. So
yeah, absolutely. Ephesians 5:33 says, Paul writes, "However, each one of you also must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must what? Respect her husband." And I think this is the kind of the passage we often take. It's like, oh, wives need love,
Right.
men need respect. But I think you need both of those things. And For me specifically, and I think for a lot of guys, one of the expressions of love that my wife gives me is respect. Is how you respect it. It doesn't mean agreement all the time.
Right.
It doesn't mean like Tony's always right and all that stuff. It just means how you engage with me, and even more specifically, how you engage with the outside world about me is the greatest way you can show respect to me.
That's it.
So I got a list of what disrespect looks like,
Okay,
and what I think respect looks like. So disrespect is sometimes found in tone and body language. It is eye rolls, dismissive gestures, sighs, especially in public, when you do those things. To just a little bit of vulnerability. One of the things I actually recently had this conversation with my wife, that we'll be with another couple or whatever, and maybe I'm telling a story, and I'm like, I'll tell a story about like, hey, it was like last year, we so-and-so whatever, and then she will come in and correct me, and be like, no, it was 2 years ago. And it's not an important detail. It really isn't an important detail. And I'm like, no, it was last year. And then she'll correct me again. And I'm like, I didn't realize how much that feels disrespectful to me. It's not an important detail in the story. Just let me tell the story. Even if I'm a little bit wrong, it's fine. It doesn't matter. It's just a story. So we had to have a conversation. I'd be like, hey, I don't know. I never realized how much when you do that, I feel disrespected in that moment. And so it was a revelation to her. She goes, I didn't even know I was doing that to you. And I was like, yeah, you don't do it all the time, but sometimes. And I'm like, just drop it. Like, just let me tell the story, because now this feels weird all of a sudden in front of other people. And I realized that like the greatest levels of disrespect happen in front of other people. Like there's a conversation and a tone, and what you can roll your eyes at me when we're together, it's just the two of us, whatever. But when you roll your eyes in front of other people, like our friends, like that feels really disrespectful to me. So I think tone and body language is a big one.
Well, I love that you guys are able to communicate about that.
Yeah.
I'm
sorry. I feel shocked. 'Cause I'm like, that's not normal. But
No.
yeah, that's absolutely normal.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be. Yeah.
Yeah, that you're able to communicate your needs, and I love that Melissa's able to say, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And make adjustments accordingly, and doop.
Yeah. We made a commitment. I don't know if I've told you this before, but before we got married, I'm like, hey, I don't want to have a relationship where I'm like blowing smoke and lying to you.
Yeah.
So can we just make an agreement now that we're just going to be honest? And so much so that if you ask me if those pants make you look fat, and they do, I'm going to tell you yes, they do. So we do. Like I'm going to lie to her, and her perspective is, well, yeah, because if I don't look good in something, I don't want to go out in public that way.
Right.
Like why would, like I don't want my husband to lie to me and then me go
Yeah.
out there like an idiot or
Right.
whatever. So
Anyway, I didn't mean to stop.
no,
you.
you're good. You're good.
just-
But we made that
Yeah.
commitment to have these conversations. And I think at the core of what we talked about last episode and this one is talk about it.
Right.
Like be vulnerable and have these conversations. Create that safe space.
Right.
And if my wife wasn't creating a safe space, I would be like, hey, that didn't feel good.
You knew you could say that to her.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And she wasn't going to get mad about it.
Yeah.
Or argue with me. Public criticism. This is the correcting, the contradicting, belittling in front of other people. And I think belittling is a big one. There's this clip on, I hate even referencing this show because I think it's absolute trash and garbage. The View. And they were talking about this.
Sorry, you've talked about this show a lot
Because it
recently.
drives me crazy. It drives me insane. Well, getting ready for the Manhood series, there's so many clips you could use about this is not healthy. But they're talking about this survey that was done with women, like, hey, do we need men? And how, like 9 out of 10 said, no, we don't need men, which is ridiculous and whatever. But one of the women sat there on national television and talked so horribly about her husband that my heart just like shattered for that man.
Yeah.
And I was like, that poor guy, probably to support his wife, watches that show and is sitting there watching her just absolutely trash him.
Yeah.
And I was like, there is zero respect there. And because she's not showing him respect, I guarantee you he doesn't respect her. Like, that has to be, I don't want to judge someone else's relationship. My guess is it's not healthy because it didn't demonstrate itself to be healthy publicly, the way that she trashed him.
Yeah.
But we actually see a lot of this. We see a lot of comments like that in society, and people who like will readily trash their husband in front of other people. Melissa and I, we made a commitment, like we will never do that. Like we're not going to sit in a room full of people and be like, oh, yeah, can you believe what my husband did? If it's something funny, that's fine, but we're not going to
Right.
demean and belittle one another in front of groups. I think there's a comparison trap. If you would just do this like so and so, that's feels so very disrespectful.
Right.
Early in our marriage, this was so innocent on my wife's behalf. We had something at the apartment or whatever that needed fixed, and she called her dad without talking to me first, and it felt so disrespectful. It did. I was like, oh, you don't believe in me. It was like crushing for me as a newly married man. She meant nothing by it, but she just knew, and she was right. It's not my skill set.
Yeah.
At all. Like shit. But it was like, just talk to me first. Like before you go to your dad, like talk to me about those things. But it felt very comparative. My dad can do this, but you can't. That's how it was received. That's not what she meant by it, but that's how it was received. So let me talk about what respect I think looks like, which I think is where we want to land. And the first one's private feedback. That's what we talked about. Like have that conversation when I do something wrong, or my goodness, if it's important to you that I got the year right in the story, afterwards say, hey, that story you told actually happened 2 years ago, not 1 year ago. Great. I'm probably still not going to care that much about what year it was, but do it privately. Appreciation over perfection. Very similar to what you talked about last time. Showing gratitude even when I wasn't perfect. Like, hey, thanks for taking the trash out. You forgot the recycle bin. Thanks for taking the trash out.
Yeah.
Simple things like that, rather than belittling over the little stuff. Physical demonstrations. I think one of the things that Melissa does really well is when I come home, she gets up to greet me. Like she'll give me a hug and a kiss when I get home every day, rather than just sit there looking at her phone and be like, hey, welcome back, and back to her phone. She will be intentional about getting up and coming to actually greet me. Those are all ways that at least I feel respect, and I think a lot of guys would feel that respect as well.
Yeah, I love that.
I do want to tackle a myth, maybe, this idea that respect is earned. It's such a fascinating thing to me. I've seen this so many times, like, well, my husband needs to earn my respect. Man, if I said that you need to earn my love, that would be horrible. But I think when we begin to understand that respect is an expression of love,
Right.
it begins to change our perspective on that.
Yeah. And that marriage is a vow and a covenant that we made.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. So respect's a big one. And you can probably relate to all these because respect's a big thing for you.
Yeah.
So it's, respect in the workplace. All those things matter. At the end of the day, here's if women got nothing else out of this is the one thing I want you to know. Your voice is by far the most important and impactful voice that we have in our lives. We want to be respected everywhere, but if we're not respected by our spouse, and I understand we do need to live our lives in a way that is respectable.
Right.
But if we're not respected by our wives, everything else falls apart. But if I know that I go home and my wife respects me and my kids respect me, I can deal with whatever.
Yeah.
I can deal with you not respecting me or anybody else not respect. Because I got it at home. I got it where it matters the most.
Yeah.
And I think even through the biblical manhood series and this podcast, like if women just understood the impact that your words and the respect that you share for your husband, like impacts him, it could change a lot.
I think that is so important too, because again, this is another broad generalization, but oftentimes words are where women struggle. And I have often felt that words and how we use our words are the mark of our maturity as Christians. So like as we mature as followers of Jesus, it will show up in how we use our words. in our most intimate relationships.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important.
Yeah. Talk more about what does that look like?
How careful we are with our words, how salty, and I mean the good kind of salty,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
are with our words. We're to be salt and light, and how kind and encouraging we are versus tearing down, cynical, prideful, all those things. When I first got married, we wrote our own vows, and one of the vows I wrote was that I vow to uphold the reputation of your name, even when you're not, even when I'm not in your presence. And I vowed that specifically because I knew I would struggle, not because of anything other than like my words.
Yeah.
I struggled with words. I was young. I was 22 when I got married, and I was right. Early on, that was a struggle. I struggled with my words because I wanted to process everything, verbally process,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like I got better at that as I walked with the Lord and had people discipling me and teaching me to do that better. My words got more mature to the point that when we got divorced, people were like finding out, what our life was like. And we're like, we had no idea. And I'm like, yeah, that was the point.
Yeah.
I was trying to keep my vow.
Right.
So, not in a unhealthy covering up abuse kind of way, but this was the private part of my marriage that I was trying to uphold the vow of my interpersonal relationship part. I just think that women, if we could understand the power and impact of our words and the worlds that our words create,
Yeah.
man, it would change a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah. It impacts how your husband leads you, protects you, serves you, loves you, how he does all those things for his kids. And I also don't want to put all the weight, it's not all the weight on women on
Right.
this, but it is like just understanding that there's a wiring in a guy that just like deeply desires for his wife to respect him.
Right.
And there is some of that, like we will do things to try to earn that. But I would argue that when we have it, we work even harder to keep it. Like when I know my wife respects me, like I'll move heaven and earth to make sure that I keep that, because I realize like how it fuels everything else that I do.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest one. The second one is men want to fight battles that matter. They want to have purpose. Again, last episode we talked about safety. We about like men providing safety. Like there's a deep desire for us to have that sense of purpose. I have my daughter just turned 18. She's going to go to college soon. There is probably a normal. This is my oldest kid, right? Probably a normal identity crisis that I'm kind of dealing with. Like, what? Wait, hold on. If she's an adult now, what does my role look like? For 18 years, I've been provider and protector for this kid.
Right.
And I have relished it and I have loved it. And it's been probably one of the biggest things that's defined me, even to the, at times, detriment to my marriage.
Yeah.
Because like I've held that so high. And now it's like, oh crap. Like it doesn't look the same anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that looks like, because I think men have a deep desire for that. And Ecclesiastes 3:11 says God has set eternity in the human heart. And I think men want to know that what they're doing has a bigger impact than just their lives.
Yeah.
Which I think is why fatherhood can be such a transformational thing for men, is because now we see our purpose is bigger than ourselves. We talked about this with submission. There's so many overlaps to the last episode.
Yeah.
Like men just want to know that our life is about more than just ourselves.
Yeah.
I think deep down, we truly desire that that's true. I think some examples of God honoring battles that men fight and want to fight is spiritual warfare, spiritual battles. Like we want to be spiritual leaders in our homes. We want to be a spiritual leader for our wives. Many men don't know how to do that. That's actually one of the things we're talking about in the Biblical Manhood series is like, what does it mean for you to like be so committed to your faith you can actually lead your families well?
Right.
Lead them spiritually. I think they want to fight for things like justice. And again, we talked about this protection. We want to protect people and care for people. I always think it's one of the coolest things when you see, I'm going to use this term wrong, like not biker gangs, but like organizations, biker clubs, like motorcycle clubs, big, yes. Huge, manly men who like show up solely because they're seeking justice and protection for kids or women or whatever it may be. There's a social image that they may or may not have, probably don't even deserve, but they show up in such a powerful way because it's deep in the core of wanting to fight a battle that matters.
Right.
So they'll step up and fight that battle. Legacy building is a big one. It's building godly kids. We want to do character development, right? We want to battle our personal sin, grow in Christ likeness. I think of Dwight, who's on our team here at 242. This is a guy who is not on staff, is not a paid staff member, but absolutely changing and transforming the culture at the Brighton campus at 242 as he leads our baptisms. And we're seeing more baptisms than we've ever seen in the life of the church. And it's just so cool to watch him lean into that. Yeah. And so it's this thing call it Ministry Partners. And we invited him into this role. And I remember having a conversation with our leadership advisory team about what a ministry partner was. Like we're going to treat them like staff, all this stuff. They're going to have real job descriptions. And they're like, wait, you're gonna ask people to do that and not pay them? I was like, well, yeah. I mean, because I truly believe one of the problems of the church is we don't open the door enough for people. And we invited him in, and just like, this guy is so on fire, more on fire now than he ever was. Yeah. And the number of times he thanks me for the opportunity. I love Dwight so much. And I was like, Dwight, buddy, like you are blessing us. Like you don't have to thank me anymore.
He's such a gift.
Yeah. This past weekend we were like doing baptisms, and I look at him and he's just like standing there with tears in his eyes, blown away at what God's doing. And but you see a guy who is embracing something bigger than himself. Right. Like there's this purpose and this mission in front of him, and it has given him life and it has fueled him. Yeah. And I think all men are looking for that. Yeah. But I think a lot of men misdirect this. Right? They misdirect this into I'm going to have a category that I'm just going to call fantasy battles. Okay. Right? So they're not real battles. So we can call these video games, sports obsessions, action movies, whatever it may be, things that aren't bad in and of themselves. Yeah. But they become such a thing that it becomes the new battle. That's the thing that they're fighting. They're so invested in this thing. I do think that at some level, video games have become a replacement for real battles in people's lives. Listen. Because now I get onto a video game and I can fight this battle, or I can do my fantasy sport. Again, none of these things bad in and of themselves. Like if you're leading your family well, you're loving your wife well, loving your kids well, play a video game. It's fine. Enjoy a video game. But when it becomes the thing, like that's where you're finding your fight and your battle, like you've already lost your battle. Yeah. Because you've lost the real purpose that God
when you sacrifice time with the kids and the
Yeah. There's selfish ambitions, so it's building your personal empire rather than God's kingdom. And then there's just the passivity and avoiding conflict, because part of fighting that battle is there's conflict involved.
Yeah, that's good. When you first mentioned this one, I had a fiery thing rise up in me that I want to say to women. Yeah. You said the way you phrased it was fighting battles that matter. And what I want to say is sometimes we as women can concoct battles that don't matter.
That don't matter. Yeah. Okay.
To get attention. And over time, maybe not at first, but over time, the men in our lives will figure that out. And we will become the women who cried wolf. So stop it. You are not a damsel. You are a daughter of the King.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
That's good. You just leave that one right there.
Yep.
Leave it there. I think the way this can play out in marriage is there's a vision casting role that men can play that allows them to lean into this battle. And it doesn't mean they make all the decisions. That's not what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. I'm saying, but like there needs to be a role that I think a man plays to help cast a vision for a family in the future. I think one of the things that if you want to talk directly to women, support his calling, support his mission, support his community involvement, whatever it may be, like whatever that battle is for him, like support that and champion that thing. I this may be risking crying here. Was at a retreat a while back, and I was processing some stuff with God, just trying to work through things. And my wife was with me at this retreat, and something happened at our devotional time with the pastors that like just kind of set me off. Not in a bad way, just like, oh, here it was again. Yeah. And so I went back to the room, and again, my wife, there's no barrier. I go in, and I was like, I just don't get it. And I just kind of poured out my heart, and I'm like crying. I'm like, I don't understand why God shows up over here, but he's not showing up for me like this. It was all, a lot of it, honestly, it was probably selfish, but it was where I was. It was just wrestling through this thing. Like, why isn't God doing this thing that he seems to be doing for other people, but he's not doing it here for me? And my wife stood up, walked over to me with a boldness that I have never seen in this woman. And she just like spoke biblical truth into my life and empowerment and encouragement, and just said some things that like, they're for me, but they said some things. And I was like, man, I will run through a brick wall right now for my mission because my wife is in my corner.
Yeah. And
because she was in my corner, I'm like, I'll do anything.
Yeah.
I got this. And I don't need anyone else in my corner right now because my wife is in my corner.
Yeah.
And this is such a huge deal, because the adventure that God has me on is not just me. My wife is with me.
Right.
And knowing that I'm not alone, that she is my helper by my side, not submissive to me, but by my side, like going through the battle with me. Right. She may be the silent one. I may be the one that stand on stage and lead the church and all this, but without her, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, she wasn't silent in that moment.
No, she won't. No. You all right?
Yeah, it's just...
You got no emotion over there.
I love Melissa.
She's a good one. She's a good one.
Yeah.
So, okay. Third one. You ready for the third one? We want to be needed. I would even venture to say we want to be wanted. I think there's I argue very strongly that men want what women want. We want to be needed and we want to be wanted. So it's not just physical and sexual, but it is. Like we want to be desired by our wives. And again, there are many things that we can do for those things, but we want to know that our role matters. Genesis 2:18 says, it's not good for man to be alone. He says, I will make a helper suitable for him. I think he needs to know that, number one, he can't do it alone. But number two, neither can you. And you actually need each other, and he needs to be needed. I saw a clip the other day. It was a comedian. She handled it really well, but she said something about like, where's the single ladies? Are there any single ladies here? And one lady in the crowd said, sometimes I wish I was.
Oh.
And the lady kind of keyed in on her, and she handled it real well. And she's like, oh, is this your husband next to you? She says, yeah. I was like, that poor man. And so the comedian went on this thing like, oh, so like I see you've got bangs. Those aren't cheap. You have to get those cut every so often. You got highlights too. How much do those cost? And it just kind of went on about, because she found out she was a stay-at-home mom. Husband worked, provided all this stuff for her, and was like basically just got on her about like, you just disrespected your husband and said, oh man, I wish I was single, but yet your husband's providing all these things to you. Basically, you have forgotten that he's needed, or you're certainly not communicating that he's needed. I think men just need to know and want to know that they're needed. Men want to contribute in, I think, decision making, physical tasks, and problem solving. I think this is funny. We often talk like like guys don't need to fix your problem, right? But I always say on the flip side, but you need to know that we're fixers. Like we want to fix your problem. So my wife and I have a practice that I ask her, like when she starts like going on a subject, and I'm like, hold on, do you want me to fix it, or do you want me to listen? What do you want from me right now? Because you know where I want to gravitate. I want to fix it.
Yeah.
But if you just want me to listen, I'll just listen.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes there's a lot of criticism and pressure on men to just listen and stop trying to fix everything. I would challenge women to say, hey, like it's actually a role and a skill set that your husband may be bringing to the table that you need to take advantage of sometimes. And the reason he wants to fix it isn't just to be a fixer. The reason he wants to fix it is because he loves you.
Yeah.
And he wants the problem to go away for you. And sometimes we have the answer to that. You seen the video of the nail in the head? You remember that video?
We played it here once.
Yeah. It's not about the nail. It's like, no, but I can fix the headache by pulling the nail out of your head. And at the end of the day, like we want to know that we're needed. So if I were to be shut down every time, I said, no, you just listen all the time. That's all you do. I'm like, well, I don't feel very needed right now because anybody can listen to you. I understand it's an important role I serve. However, sometimes I can actually fix it for you.
Yeah.
I can make this better.
Yeah.
So I'm curious for you as speaking from the woman's perspective, that tension between the listening and the helping and allowing, even the humility, because sometimes that's what this is about. It's the humility of the woman saying, I'm going to step back. I'm going to actually let my husband fix this.
Yeah. Last episode, we talked about the respect piece professionally of having to prove that you know a thing instead of just being respected to know a thing. And so I have often felt like a similar emotion when I'm in conversations with men where they're trying to fix things.
Oh, yeah.
Not because they're trying to fix a thing, but because they assume I haven't thought of all the things that they're suggesting.
You assume they think that, or they are assuming that?
They're assuming, they're like suggesting things. I'm like, yes, I've already thought of that.
Okay, I see.
Yes, I've already thought of that. Yes, I've already thought of that.
Yeah.
Yes, I've already thought of that. Yes, I already tried that. It didn't work.
Yeah.
Here's why it didn't work. And so I think maybe it's less about fixing versus listening and more about it being a conversation. Like, hey, can I enter into a conversation with you where we try to problem solve this together? And asking questions versus, hey, try this. Also, it's less about like a slap a solution on it and a, hey, let's ask some questions about all the things to get to a solution together. I don't know. I feel like that could be
more coaching than telling. Yeah.
Yeah. More coaching than telling. What is the phrase that you use where you say, tell me more?
Help me understand.
Help me understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Help me understand why you made that decision.
Help me understand. But
the underlying theme of that is I don't agree with you.
I know. But I think even though that wouldn't be the underlying thing with that, but I think you could use that same approach with the listening versus problem solving thing to bring some dignity to the conversation. Yeah. I don't know. That's always been my rub with that tension is you're assuming that I haven't thought of all the things that you're suggesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not that I don't want help fixing it. It's that like, yeah, I've already thought of all those things.
Yeah. And I think the flip side for men is also when your wife like takes your advice and this thing gets fixed, just let it be.
Yeah.
Don't gloat.
Right. Oh, yes.
It's easy for us to say, like, I told you, if you just did this earlier.
Right.
We early on in our family, I'm totally joking. If we played a board game or something, like, oh, I remember that time I kicked your butt at Monopoly or whatever it was. And we started doing that with like my daughter. I would joke around with her or whatever. Until one day we played like Hungry Hip, whatever it was. I don't know. And we're taking her to bed and we're going up the stairs. My now 18-year-old at like 3 or 4 years old turns around and says, Daddy, I won and Mommy lost. And I was like, oh, yeah. She goes, you know why? I said, why? because me and daddy are winners, mommy's a loser. I was like, ooh, crap. And I realized, I was like, oh, like, and then my wife didn't want to play games with me anymore. So here's the crazy thing about this. Guys, listen to this. Crazy thing is I stopped doing that. I truly was joking around. I was just trying to have some fun. I didn't realize the impact it was having. Bad dad move. Now if we play a game, like I am competitive, I'll get frustrated. Not like visit whatever. I'll be like, it's stupid. But I don't like do that anymore. Like, hey, remember that time I kicked your whatever? Yeah. Like I said, oh, good job. Hey, you won. That's awesome. It was like last year or something. My wife made a comment. We were joking around with another couple. Where I made a comment like, yeah, it's kind of hard to play games with Tony because he always likes to brag about winning. I was like, honey, I haven't done that in years. But it stuck with her.
Oh, wow.
For so long. And then she like sat back and thought, oh, I guess you don't really do that anymore. But it was so like ingrained in her that I did that. Yeah. And I think for some of us, we tell our wives, like, if you do this thing and then they do it and it works, like, see, I told you. Well, guess what? She's not asking for next time. Like, you don't need to brag. You just let it be. Yeah. Give her the advice. It's over. It's fixed. Awesome. Right. Move on in life. Yeah. You don't need to do the I told you so kind of stuff.
It's interesting as you're talking, I was thinking about this happened just last week. I was doing something at work and was running into difficulty getting my team to act, or what I perceived as getting them to act on a thing that I'd asked them to do many times. And I was processing it with a friend, and this friend, who happens to be a man, was like, well, maybe they did it and then just didn't combine the spreadsheets, the spreadsheet they were working on with the one that you asked them to work on. I was like, oh, maybe. In my head, I'm going, that's not what the hell. But I didn't say that out loud. I was like, yeah, maybe. Yeah. No. So he was like, hey, maybe just ask. I was like, okay. So I asked, and guess what?
Was right.
He was right.
Shocking.
I was like, oh, okay. So that was yet again another lesson to me to be like, okay, humility.
Yep. Yeah. It's the reminder that we're on the same team.
Yeah.
Like when you're married, you're on the same team, and you have to start acting like it. There's a video recently of a pitcher. What team did he play for? I don't know. He was on the mound, getting ready to throw, and the catcher wanted him to throw a different pitch. I think that's how the story goes. And the pitch clock was running down, so he motions for the pitcher to back off the mound. But the pitcher goes ahead and throws the pitch, and the guy hits it out of the park for a home run. The next pitch, the guy, instead of throwing the curveball, whatever he was supposed to throw, like threw a fastball right at the catcher and hit the catcher. Obviously, when the catcher's ready for a certain pitch, like he's set up a certain way, got hit, got drilled, and the pitcher did it intentionally to drill the catcher because he was mad. And it's like, you just forgot you're on the same team. Like you forgot, like there was a communication error. You forgot you're on the same team, and now you're just lashing out at your teammate. And I think, one of the things that's going to make our marriages successful is when we realize we're on the same team here. And part of it is stepping back and saying, hey, I want to make sure my husband feels needed. And whether it's collaboration or whatever it may be. I think last episode you talked about men engaging at home and helping around the house. And I use the illustration about my wife like coming behind me and fixing the dishwasher. I'm like, either we're on the same team or we're not.
Right.
Like if I don't do it perfectly and you're going to come and do it, you can do it on your own. But I'm happy to do the dishwasher as long as you're not coming back and doing the work I just did.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't say teamwork to me at all.
Right.
But it's again, every single thing we've talked about last episode and this one, it's all conversation.
Yeah.
Are you willing to have a hard conversation with the person you're a partner with to figure these things out? And I think when men don't feel needed, you'll tend to see them withdraw, like emotionally, physically, spiritually, like all those things. They'll start seeking their significance elsewhere. And just to be clear, no way, shape, or form infidelity, not advocate.
Right.
But oftentimes it's in your job. It's in we talked about video games. I mean, they'll try to find that somewhere if they're not getting it in the one place they need to have it.
Right.
They'll try to find it somewhere else. And then resentment, I think, can build up. It's like, man, if I'm not needed, I just like, what am I here for? Again, because there's a deep desire for men to be engaged and be needed. Here's the last one. Authentic connection over performance. So not this idea that I have to perform a certain way, but like there's a real genuine commitment. Success, failure, good or bad, there's a real connection here. I think one of the myths that I have come up, like when I do like marital and premarital counseling and many other venues that I've seen, there's this idea that like men only want one thing and they want sex. And it's like, okay, they don't just want one thing. They do want sex, but there's a connection there.
Right.
It's not just about sex. Right. It is about the emotional, spiritual, physical, and like there's a connection that happens there. We talked about love languages. Mine is physical touch.
Yeah.
It doesn't just mean sex.
Right.
But it does include sex.
Yeah.
Like that is a part of like my expression of love and intimacy with my wife.
Right.
It's also like when she reaches over and like scratches my back while I'm driving or something. It's like awesome. Like I feel loved right now. Like it's impressive how much it speaks to me. Authentic connection, I think, looks like this. You talked about this last time, being known. It's knowing that my wife sees me and she knows me, like really, really knows me.
Yeah.
And the reason I can't like be dealing with something emotional and walk in the room and not cry in front of my wife is because she knows me.
She's gonna
she's gonna see right through it anyway. So
yeah.
I think it's a spiritual partnership. So it's praying together. Like studies have shown, couples who pray together actually do stay together. Like there is a direct correlation to those two things. There's a foundation of friendship, and I think for men that we often forget about, there's a need for safety to be vulnerable. Men don't have that space very often. Like we don't. I mean, I think it's one of the coolest things is to watch how women can create that space so easily and readily. I've seen you do it with friends. Like you walk through a journey over the past year, and like to watch that vulnerability and intimacy just naturally happen for you.
Yeah.
I watched that and I was like, oh man, that doesn't happen for guys.
No, it doesn't.
Typically. I mean, some people have it and it's awesome.
That's
but
rare.
a lot of guys, it's just like those friendships are hard to come by.
Yeah.
To have that. And if you don't have it in your marriage, like guys are trying to, I mean, we're stuffing stuff down. Somebody just told me a stat a couple weeks ago. I need to look this up to you guys, y'all can proof check it. 144,000 suicides so far this year, and 80% of them were men.
Oh my gosh.
80%. I knew it would be like the majority. I didn't know it would be 80%.
Wow.
And a lot of this is because they don't have a place to process all this stuff.
That's heartbreaking.
It is absolutely heartbreaking. So I think for women, knowing that like to create, just like we talked about last week for men, like create the safe space for vulnerability.
Yeah.
Do you ever read the book, what's the name of it? Brene Brown? Like her big book that she did the TED Talk on. Do you remember? You familiar with this?
Probably, yeah. I've read a lot of her books.
She did a lot of stuff on shame.
Yeah.
And stuff. And she talks about that she only studied shame in women because she didn't think men dealt with the same kind of stuff until she learned otherwise. And she tells this story about this guy that was at one of her conferences or whatever and came up and talked to her afterwards. And basically, I remember exactly how it went. Something along the lines of, everything you said was great, but I can't do that. Like I can't be that vulnerable with my family. And if I remember right, she was talking to him and looked over his shoulder and back, like toward the back of the room was his wife and daughter, like looking horrified that he was even up there talking to her. And it's this contrast that we have of we hear, I think this is a good perspective from men. We hear the women want us to be vulnerable and authentic and real and cry and do all those things. And then when we do those things, we feel rejected.
Right.
So then we're like, you're saying one thing, but you're not how you're responding. So we feel like we can't actually do that.
Yeah.
So we can't actually give you what you say you want in our marriages because we don't feel like there's a safe space to do that.
Yeah.
So when you find that, it's women, like when you are able to create that space where your husband can be vulnerable, not judged, not ridiculed, but loved and embraced and supported in the midst of all that, you just created an environment that he will thrive in.
I think this is a great message for women who are married, but maybe equally, equally, a great message for women who are not yet married.
Absolutely.
There's a big thing online that I've seen people talking about. Have you heard that people talking about getting the ick?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Don't get me started. But go ahead. Yeah.
I actually, ironically, have never heard men talk about this. I've heard women talk about
Nope.
it. When they'll be dating someone and then suddenly get the ick, which is where they observe something that makes them suddenly, after months,
Like socks with sandals kind of thing.
yeah, after months of being really interested in someone, they'll observe something and be like, oh, got the ick, not interested anymore. This relationship's over. And I have observed online a lot of women saying they get the ick when they see a man cry.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
It is.
That's a problem.
You're
problem.
You're creating broken men
Yes.
when they're not allowed to feel emotions. In any
You
way,
are
shape, or form.
creating the societal issue that you say you hate.
Yep.
Stop
We
it.
get into toxic masculinity and how. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I agree, and I think I've never been in a circle where men talk about getting the ick. However, I will say if there's one thing that gives the good Christian men you're looking for the ick, it's that kind of stuff.
Yes.
It's when it's like, oh, you're going to judge me over something like that?
Stop being.
Really? That's your superficial personality? I want nothing to do with that either. But that's the cycle that we live in, and I don't think it's a majority of women
Right.
that do that. Most people have their heads screwed on a little bit better than that. But it definitely is an issue when that space isn't created.
Yeah.
I think the last thing on that one I would say, I think men respond better to side by side conversations than face to face. Like if my wife said, "Hey, can we have a talk?" I'd be like, "Ugh, how about can we go for a walk?" And if we happen to talk while we're walking, awesome. If we happen to talk while we're driving in the car, awesome.
Yeah.
It can be the same conversation, but the position of just staring into your eyes and having this conversation, it just feels weird. It feels off.
I think I've heard it said women do best connecting knee to knee and men do best connecting shoulder to shoulder.
That's good. Yeah. That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a great way of putting it. Yeah.
That's interesting.
So I think all those are, like when I think of what a man needs, again, this is not an exhaustive list. This is my list. This isn't like the end all be all, but I think it speaks for most men, whether they would say it or not. And I think if wives like listened to this and took these things seriously, we're not looking for drastic changes here. We're talking about how do you respect them? How do you make them feel needed? It doesn't mean you change like who you are. It does change, I think, how you view your marriage and your role, right? There's I heard a pastor not too long ago, I can't remember who it was, talked about like no one notices if a king takes off his crown. But everyone notices when a queen takes it off. And I think it speaks volumes to like what a wife's role is in building up her husband. And if you want your husband to be the man that God intended your husband to be, I think there's a really important role that wives serve that if men were honest, we would acknowledge it. Like, we really need you. We need you to step up and be that person. So I think I still look back at that when my wife called me out. But she basically called me out, spoke biblical truth into me that day in the hotel room. And then she just walked off to go get ready for dinner. And I was like, what just happened? I don't know what's going on. So I remember walking in and saying, hey, I I don't like what just happened, but I'm madly in love with you for it. Because that's what I need in a wife. That's what I need you to do. Doesn't mean I like it right now. I don't like that you didn't just agree with me and like say, oh yeah, that's horrible. But you instead spoke biblical encouragement into my life. You challenged me. You called me to something better and something greater. And I love you for that. I'm just not happy about it right now.
I love that.
And it's fine. She's like, all right, cool. I was like, as long as we're good, we're good. So
Yeah.
last 10%.
I love Melissa Johnson. That's my last 10%.
She's a good one.
Gosh.
She's a
Yeah.
winner.
No, that is part of my last 10%. But also, I think I need you to go first while I process how I'm going to say this.
I think my last 10% is very similar to last time. It's like, man, men, I think have lost their way. I think there was a time where men were, by and large, being the biblical men that God called them to be. And I think they've lost their way. And I just want women to know that you serve such an important role in your husband's life, in him stepping into that thing. And we're not saying that like your marriage has to look a certain way or whatever, but we talk about respect and need and connection. All those things are like when you're able to cultivate that space, like it's the space your husband needs to thrive. It's like growing a plant, right? You're going to give it the soil, the nutrients, everything, the water, the sunlight, everything it needs. Like doing these things gives your husband the things he needs to grow. And when he's able to grow in those areas, he's going to be a better husband for you, a better father to your kids, and a better agent for the kingdom of God in like powerful, incredible ways.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I have been increasingly fiery and convicted about this.
I wonder why.
That I think women need to remember and know within the depths of their being that we were not created to be treated with kid gloves. I love that you started by talking about that verse in Genesis that defines us as helpers, and that word helper is there. Every other time that word is used in the Old Testament, it's in reference to God being a helper. Oftentimes, it's in reference to God being a military helper. And so that is a strong help. It's time for us to be done assuming that our role is to sit back while our men create lives of comfort for us. That's not our role.
No.
Be a helper.
Yeah. You get your Bible sitting there. Let's close with this. Proverbs 31. Open that bad boy up. This is like one of the famous descriptions of a biblical woman. There's even ministries built around this, the Proverbs 31 woman.
Yep.
And the interesting thing about this passage that we often don't think about too much is the woman in Proverbs 31 is a worker. Like she's working hard for her family and for her household. But I want you to read, I can't remember exactly what verse that section starts on. Read the first verse of A Virtuous Woman. Can you find it?
Are you talking about like a wife of noble character?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah. The first verse in that section.
Okay. A wife of noble character who can find. She's worth far more than rubies. Okay,
stop right there. That's it. That's all the further I want to go. A wife of noble character. I mean, I think one of the things that I struggle with watching culture right now is, again, social media is an outlier. It shows you all the worst of society. Everything we've talked about points to that verse.
Yep.
Men want a woman of noble character. A good Christian man wants a woman of noble character. And when you are that thing, you are highly desirable to your husband. You're highly desirable to anyone who follows after Christ for that reason, because that's what we want. all the things we talk about, I think, fall into that verse. And you could read the rest of Proverbs 31, but I think, this would go to men too, like noble character, in a society where it seems to be harder and harder to find.
Yeah.
That is what is needed and desired the most. That's what men want.
Amen.
Amen.